Welcome everybody out there, here. Welcome to Yoga to Go at CATV in the border of beautiful Vermont, New Hampshire. We're here for our 6th edition of a Hatha Yoga class integrating physical movement with breath awareness and that meditative aspect expanding from the center outward. Inhaling for Om. Taking this opportunity, this space to create an intention for the practice and offering our Sankalpa, drawing the palms to prayer at heart center. And the inhalation, sweeping the arms wide and overhead, offering it up to that which you hold higher. And exhaling grace home to the heart. And finding your way onto your hands and knees. Curling the toes under, straightening the legs, hips lifted into down dog or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pedaling it out, bending one knee and then the other. The fingers wide, evenly grounded through the base, particularly through the base of the forefinger, from the wrist down and inward spiral, from the wrist upward and outward spiral, drawing the shoulder blades down the back and away from the spine. And settling into the stillness for 10 full breaths. Perhaps bending the knees slightly if there's any rounding at the lower spine, extending out and up through the tailbone. Inhale, lifting the right leg extended. Still evenly grounded through the two palms, left foot. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over the wrists. Inhale, lengthening. Inhale, forward to low lunge, palms remaining to the mat. On the exhalation, drawing the right leg long, chin over shin, navel to spine. If you're at home and have blocks, feel free to incorporate those to allow the right leg to straighten. Maybe adjusting the hips slightly to the right or left, finding that sweet spot of tension. To a brief cat-cow. Inhale, knee over ankle, gaze outward. And exhale, straightening the right leg, chin to shin, navel to spine. Twice more with the breath. This next time forward, lifted through the arms, torso, gaze to high lunge. With the right toes relaxed, lifted through the center of the right arch, drawing the energy upward through the leg, extending out through the left heel, opening through the front of the left quadricep. Two more breaths. And the exhalation, palms to the mat, right leg back to plank pose. Taking a few breaths in plank pose, extending out through the heels, lengthening through the core. And slowly to Chaturanga, body suspended by palms and toes, simplify by coming to the knees, to the tops of the feet, to up dog. And curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog. Inhale, lifting the left leg extended. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over the wrists. Inhale, expanding. Inhale, stepping forward to low lunge, palms remaining to the mat. As you exhale, straightening the left leg, navel to spine, chin to shin. There should be no discomfort at the hamstring attachments, but a gentle stretching at the center of the muscles. Inhaling to the rhythmic cat-cow. Gaze forward, shoulder blades down the back, and exhale, rounded, navel to spine, twice more. This next time, forward, lifted to high lunge. So the left toes relaxed, the breath relaxed, even relaxing the facial muscles, the corners of the lips, corners of the eyes, allowing your Buddha smile to rise up from within. Exhaling, palms to the mat, left leg back to plank pose, and through the flow to Chaturanga, to the tops of the feet, shoulders down and away from the ears, curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog. Taking 5 full breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana or down dog. Still grounded through the base of the forefinger. Exhaling to the knees, to extended child's pose for a breath or two. Maybe moving the hips slightly side to side, releasing tension from the lower back and hips. Inhaling back to all fours, curling the toes under and pressing back to down dog. Inhale, lifting the right leg extended. Exhale, slow and wide to the right elbow. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, crossing the heart to the left elbow. Inhale, stacking the hips, the right knee bent, right foot over to the left side, gazing under the left armpit. For 4 more breaths. And the next inhalation, forward and rising to high lunge. Inhale, pressing up with the left toes, taking flight to Warrior 3. Hands by the hips, maybe an internal spiral to the left thigh. Both hips remaining even. And carefully bending into the right knee out to crane pose. For a few breaths in crane pose, incorporating a gazing point to help steady the pose. And the exhalation with grace to Utkatasana or chair pose. Chair pose, the feet parallel, lifted through the center of the arches, aware of the grounding through the periphery of the feet evenly. Inhale, remaining equal to exhale. And the exhalation, folding, interlacing. Hands behind the back, maybe even palm to palm if you're flexible. Quadriceps engaged, allowing the hamstrings to release. And through the next move, allowing the arms to counterbalance as you release the hands, left leg back to high lunge. Exhaling, palms to the mat, right leg back to plank pose. And slowly to Chaturanga, elbows into the body, to the tops of the feet to up dog, and curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog. Whether here in the studio or at home, if you lose that integral connection to the breath, you're welcome to come to extended child's pose or any other restorative pose. Yoga not a competition, but a beautiful way to release all tensions from the body and mind. Inhale, lifting the left leg extended. Exhale, slow and wide to the left elbow. Inhale, expand. Exhale, crossing the heart to the right. And inhale, stacking the hips for 5 breaths. The shoulder blades remaining square, weight even through both palms. Next inhalation, forward and rising to high lunge. Initially settling into the pose, allowing the final adjustments to subside and into the stillness. Maintaining that stillness through each transition. A transition pressing off with the right toes, taking flight to Warrior 3. Through that particular transition, both knees slightly bent and eventually lengthening but not locked. Bending into the left knee out to crane pose. Exhalation to Utkatasana or chair pose. The breath even. Inhale to exhale through the nose. Inhale, legs straight, hands to the heart. Namaste Tahi for 3 full breaths. Still aware of our feet connecting to the earth, lifted through the arches, a straight line from ankles to the hips, shoulders upward through the ears without stiffness. And exhaling to Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, folding, interlacing. Gently rocking it side to side, maybe bending the opposite knee, maybe lifting one heel and then the other. Releasing tension from the hips, even the shoulders. Coming back to center. On the inhale, releasing the hands, left leg back to high lunge. Exhaling, palms to the mat, right leg back to plank pose. And slowly to Chaturanga, to up dog. Shoulders away from the ears, curling the toes under and pressing back to down dog. Returning to plank pose. And coming to knees, chest, and chin. The elbows into the body, hips slightly lifted. A gentle gaze forward, no tension in the back of the neck. As you slowly release the hips, tops of the feet to the mat, inhale, lengthening out and up through the head, neck, and shoulders. The top of the inhalation, expanding across the upper chest collarbone, curling the toes under through straight leg or bent knee, pressing back to down dog. Inhale, lifting the right leg extended. Exhale, wide to the right elbow. Inhale, stacking the hips. Inhale, forward and rising to high lunge. Exhale, grounding the left heel, rotating to warrior two. Drawing that lift from the arches through the legs, from the base of the tailbone on upward through the spine, out through the top of the head. Standing tall, strong, but not stiff. Inhaling to reverse triangle, right knee straight, extending long through the right fingertips. Attentive to the breath, all subtle sensations within. And the exhalation to side angle pose. Bent right knee, accepting the bent right elbow, extending long through the left arm. Maybe gazing out to the left palm if the head and neck fine with that. Rooted firmly through the back left foot. The weight not collapsing into the right foot or elbow. Inhaling to warrior two. To high lunge. Pressing off with the left toes forward to fold and interlace. On the inhalation, releasing the hands, knees bent deeply, hook thumbs as you press through the feet to rise like a wave. And exhale, folding, interlacing. Inhale, releasing the hands, left leg back to high lunge. And exhaling, palms to the mat, right leg back to plank pose. And slowly through the flow to chaturanga, elbows in to up dog. And curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog. Inhale, lifting the left leg extended. Exhale, slow and wide to the left elbow. Inhale, stacking the hips. Inhale, forward and rising to high lunge. Exhale, grounding the right heel, rotating to warrior two. Finding that stillness, initial adjustments falling away, attentive to the breath. Inhaling to reverse triangle pose. Maybe allowing the breath to deepen the pose without so much physical effort. And the exhalation to side angle pose, left knee bent, accepting the elbow, extending long from firmly grounded back right foot. Maybe gaze up to the right palm if the head and neck fine with that. Inhaling to warrior two, to high lunge. Pressing off of the right toes, right foot to left, fold, interlace. Inhale, knees bent deeply, hook thumbs as you rise like a wave. And exhaling home to the heart, Namaste Tahi, for 3 breaths. Finding that steadiness, that length in the pose, Tadasana mountain pose. And exhaling to Utkatasana, chair pose. Finding that minimal amount of effort for the full extension. Maybe a gentle, subtle lift through the core. Exhale, folding, interlacing. Simultaneously inhale, releasing the hands, right leg back to high lunge. Exhaling, palms to the mat, left leg back to plank pose. Let's take 5 breaths here in plank pose. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Hips lifted, elbows into the body. Slowly releasing to low cobra or bhujangasana. There should be no strain in the back of the neck, maybe lowering the gaze, extending more out through the top of the head. Curling the toes under through straight leg or bent knee, back to down dog. And taking 5 breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Exhaling to the knees to extended child's pose. Bringing your awareness to the gentle rise and fall of your belly on the mat. Inhale, coming to sit up on the heels. The shoulder opening or eagle arms, right over left, once or twice. If you're at home and the hands don't quite connect on the second wrap, maybe using a strap. Inhale, lifting the gaze, the elbows, the heart for a comfortable stretch through the shoulders, upper chest, and back. Maybe even through the front of the throat with no discomfort between any 2 vertebrae or between the back of the neck. And the exhalation, rounded to vertical cat, chin to chest, elbows to navel, navel to spine, contracted for 3 breaths. And to a gentle flow. Inhale, lifted through the torso, maybe even the hips, and gaze. And exhale, drawing it back to center. So in time with your own breath, not necessarily my verbal cues. Maybe even adjusting the breath a bit slower to experience more within. If the mind distracted, maybe even incorporating a gentle, soft Ujjayi breath, the constriction in the back of the throat, dissolving the distraction and inattention. This next time lifted, stepping the right foot out as in low lunge, arms still crossed, still lifted. Taking a few breaths here as the hips continue to gently release forward, stretching through the front of the left quadricep and psoas, a particularly nice stretch if you sit a lot. Still lifted through the elbows, the gaze, the heart. And curling the toes under, preparing to rise to high lunge. Ideally, the arms still double wrapped. If they come undone, that is all fine. Returning the gentle extension through the elbows, the lifted gaze. And as you unwrap the arms to warrior half variation, so left arm in line with the back leg, right arm extended, torso at a 45. Still extending out through the left heel. And for the twist, palms in prayer, left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Inhale, lengthening. And exhale, drawing the gaze up and over the right shoulder if you're feeling balanced. You're welcome to keep the gaze grounded if you're unsteady. If you're at home and have a block, you're welcome to bring the left hand to a block in a straight line from palm to palm. Inhale, returning to warrior half variation. Left arm down the back leg, right arm extended, torso at a 45 with the gaze out to the mat in front of the right foot. And the next exhalation to the hip opener. So palms coming to the mat inside of the right foot. Maybe walking the right foot out, even turning the toes outward. Either remaining to the palms or easing it onto the forearms. You can simplify, perhaps bringing the left knee to the mat. So the right foot evenly grounded. If the left knee lifted, extending out through the heel, the left quadricep engaged. And pressing through the palms to come up and bringing the right leg back to either three-legged or plank pose. And slowly through the flow to Chaturanga, the elbows remaining into the body, to up dog, curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog. And taking 5 full breaths. Finding that restorative aspect, the easefulness in Adho Mukha Svanasana. As you extend out and up through the tailbone, weight coming out of the palms and wrists. Exhaling to the knees to extended child's pose for a few fold breaths. Bring it to full child's pose, backs of the hands to the bottoms of the feet, maybe even the third eye to the mat instead of the hairline, so lengthening through the neck, the third eye slightly above the nose between the eyebrows, connecting that bindu of light to the earth that supports us through each moment. Inhale, lengthening through the arms to all fours. Curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog. Releasing out to plank pose. To knees, chest, and chin. And to low cobra pose. Tops of the feet, tops of the thighs still grounded. And curling the toes under through straight leg or bent knee, pressing back to down dog. And releasing to the knees to extended child's pose briefly. Inhale, coming to sit up on the heels. And to double wrap on the other side, left arm over right. Lifted through the gaze, the elbows, the heart. Finding that comfortable stretch through the shoulders, no impingement. And on the exhalation, rounded through vertical cat. And the next inhalation to a gentle flow, hips, torso lifted with the gaze and heart. And exhale, rounded navel to spine. The bottom of the exhalation, aware of the engagement of the core as you rise, keeping any pressure out of the lower back. The next time you rise, stepping the left foot out as in low lunge. Making any initial adjustments with the hips releasing forward, finding a comfortable stretch through the right quadriceps psoas with no discomfort in the right knee. And preparing to rise, curling the right toes under, pressing through both legs to rise to high lunge, elbows, gaze still lifted. And the next exhalation to warrior half variation. So right arm in line with the back leg, left arm extended. A straight line from back heel out through the top of the head. Preparing for the twist, palms in prayer. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Inhale, lengthening. And exhale, following that rotation from the base of the spine through the top of the head. Perhaps deepening the palms to heart center if they're not there already. If the body is sufficiently warm, pressing top hand into bottom, elbow into knee. And inhaling back to warrior 1.5. So left arm extended, right arm down the back leg for 3 breaths. And exhaling, palms to the mat for the hip opener. Easing the left foot out. Left ankle, knee in line. Either remaining there or maybe coming to the forearms to simplify the right knee to the mat. If you have blocks, you can also bring the forearms to blocks. Using our tool of awareness, directing that prana or energy within each breath to dispel points of tension. So actually visualizing as the breath comes into the body and seeing it go to those blockages or granthis. Easing it back to the palms if you're to the forearms, and pressing the left leg back to either plank or three-legged down dog. Coming out to plank pose, to chaturanga, elbows into up dog, shoulders down and away from the ears, curling the toes under, pressing back to down dog for 5 full breaths. Still aware of that internal spiral from the wrist down, the external spiral from the wrist up. Exhaling to the knees to extended child's pose. Inhaling to sit up on the heels, preparing for a side stretch, sitting to the right side of the hips. The left arm across the legs, tenting the left fingertips, the right elbow bent, right palm to the back side of the left occiput as you gaze up to the right elbow. So there's 2 long lines through the stretch, one from palm to lifted elbow, the second from grounded buttock to the top of the head, stretching the right side body. Exhale, releasing the hand. Inhale, coming back to center. To the other side, sitting to the left side of the hips. Tenting the right fingertips. So a straight line from palm to elbow. Gaze following that lifted elbow. Perhaps even backing off the stretch slightly and expanding the breath to deepen the benefits. And exhale, slowly releasing. And coming out on to the forearms, stepping the feet back for forearm plank pose. And coming into dolphin pose. So walking the toes to the elbows, hips lifted as in down dog. Maybe walking the feet to the elbows a bit more, hips lifting a bit more. Pressing evenly from palm to elbow, so the weight of the body not settling into just the elbows. The elbows directly under the shoulders. Either remaining there or into dolphin push-ups, The nose and chin out beyond the hands, almost to the mat. And inhale, lifted. Two more breaths. And the exhalation, knees to the outside of the mat, heels together, palms in prayer for a tricep stretch. So if you're not feeling a stretch through the backs of the upper arms, you're welcome to lift the hips, elbows farther from the knees, and sitting back once again. There should be no discomfort in either the neck or the shoulders. And the inhalation coming out to the right forearm for side plank. If you're at home and you'd like to deepen it, you can bring it to the palm. Stacking or staggering the legs with the right forearm parallel to the top of the mat or right palm grounded. Inhale, extending out through the left fingertips, hips lifted. In either the stillness or the flow, exhale, gaze under the right armpit, followed by the left hand, and inhale, extended with the breath. Each exhale, the left hip a little higher perhaps. And the next exhalation to the left forearm or palm. Coming to our leg or foot variation. If you're at home, you can even simplify by bending the top leg. In this case, the right foot would come behind the left leg. Into the stillness or the flow, according to your own breath rate. Each time exhale, maybe that right hip a little higher. If the left forearm to the mat, the palm to the mat, the fingers and wrists relaxed. And the next exhalation, knees wide, heels together for a tricep stretch. Making any initial adjustments for the most comfortable pose, and with each breath, deeper within. And the inhalation coming out to the belly for low cobra or Bhujangasana. So palms under the shoulders, feet either together or hip width apart, beginning with the forehead to the mat. Inhale, lengthening out and up through the head, neck, and shoulders. As you continue to press the tops of the feet, front of the thighs into the mat, the focus on the expansion through the upper chest and back. And for 2 more full breaths. The next exhalation, slowly releasing, head to one side, arms alongside the body. And your awareness to the gentle rise and fall of your belly on the mat. Nothing to do, only experience. Preparing for half locust or Ardha Shalabhasana variation, the chin to the mat, arms under the body. On the inhalation, extending out through the right heel, right leg lifted. So focusing on the extension, height not nearly as important. With the left leg still relaxed, the toes relaxed, extended from buttock to heel, allowing that deep relaxation to pervade the rest of the body. And exhale, slowly releasing the right leg. Inhale, extending out through the left heel, left leg lifted. Extended buttock to heel. With the remainder of the body settling more deeply with each breath. Exhale, releasing the left leg. Head to one side for 2 breaths. I'll instruct for the full version of the pose. You're welcome to repeat half if you like. Returning the chin to the mat, arms perhaps more deeply under the body. So if somebody were standing over you, they'd barely see the elbows. Curling the toes under. As you press through the toes, weight coming into the torso, pressing the backs of the hands, forearms away from the chin and legs lifted. Noticing, hopefully, more weight coming in to the chin and torso as you continue to press the backs of the hands towards the feet. Legs maybe a bit higher. And exhale, releasing the legs, the arms from under the body and the head to the opposite ear for 2 breaths. Bringing the palms to the mat, pressing to come up onto your back for a bridge pose. Simply rolling over is fine. As you come onto the back, bending the knees, heels to the buttocks, the feet parallel. And rather than first pressing through the feet, drawing your awareness to the pelvis and drawing the navel to the mat, allowing the tailbone to lift, and then pressing through the feet, continuing that wave-like rise, lower, middle, upper back, lifting off the mat. And with the hips lifted off the mat, interlacing the fingers, hands palm to palm, gently working the upper arms under the body without jarring the neck. Retaining that lift through the arches, the toes relaxed. Outward spiral from the heels, culminating in the low back, opening wide. No discomfort in the low back. The in-breath expanded wide across the collarbone. And the exhalation, releasing the hands, gently engaging the core as you roll it to the mat, tailbone last. Gently rocking the knees from side to side. Releasing tension from the low back and hips. And we'll come back for a second bridge pose. You're welcome to bring it deeper into a half wheel, hands to the ankles, or full wheel, hands by the ears. I'll instruct basically for a bridge, with the heels to the buttocks for a bridge. Engaging the pelvic tilt, following that slow rise, vertebra by vertebra, interlacing. And with our hearts lifted, perhaps recalling our personal intention we've created for this practice. Maybe it's a common offering we bring to all of our practices. Maybe it's an offering we carry with us throughout our day, established upon waking, through our practice on the mat, through our practice, through all of our activities off the mat. The next exhalation, slowly releasing and rolling it back to the mat, knees gently side to side. And coming back to center, bring the knees into the chest, wrapping the arms, head to the knees for a gentle belly squeeze. And as you release the head to the mat, taking the feet for happy baby pose. Gently rocking it side to side. And for the happiest of all vibrations, as we putter our lips in glee, allowing tension to fall away from the face. And slowly to the stillness, preparing for figure 4, releasing the hands, right ankle to left knee, rotating from the hip. Bringing the hands behind the left thigh, drawing the hands inward with a gentle outward spiral through the right elbow into the right inner thigh. There should be no discomfort in the right knee, maybe the right ankle to a right angle. The breath remaining full and nourishing. As you release the hands, reclining eagle. So bring the right leg over the left once or twice. And scooting the hips to the right, knees to the left, arms wide, gazing over the right shoulder. If the right shoulder not grounded, perhaps adjusting through the torso, hips, deepening the breath, the focus, that upper right quadrant, and the exhalation, softening. And the next inhalation, coming back to center, unraveling the legs, preparing for figure 4 to the other side. So with the hips squared, drawing the left knee into the chest, rotating from the hip and not the knee, ankle to knee, hands behind the right thigh, drawing the hands inward with the elbow gently guiding the left thigh outward to deepen the hip release. And slowly releasing the hands, preparing for reclining eagle. The left leg once or twice around the right. Hips to the left, knees to the right. Arms wide, breath deep, and gazing over the left shoulder. As our body is completely supported in this restorative like twist, we can completely let go and allowing all of our attention to simply rest on the breath in its entirety, its expansiveness. Even attentive to the space between. The space at the top of the inhalation, the space at the bottom of the exhalation. Inhaling back to center, unraveling the legs, and preparing for Shavasana. If you're at home, perhaps now's the time to incorporate an inversion, as we did not today. But here in the studio, everybody finding a comfortable corpse pose. Corpse, the arms and legs long, legs slightly apart, arms slightly away from the body with the palms upward. Returning our awareness to the breath, to our original intention we created for our practice. Integrating the two with that heart-centered breath, or Anuttar Pranayama. The inhalation beginning at heart center, outward to the periphery of the skin. Exhaling back to heart center. Inhaling, expanding to the periphery and slightly beyond. And exhaling to that bindu of light at our heart center. Continuing the breath, the heart, the intention, all one. All one. All one. Drawing your awareness back to your place, deepening the breath, taking your time to awaken the body, wiggling the fingers, toes, wrists, ankles, inhaling, stretching the arms long overhead, bending the knees and finding your way onto your right side for a few moments. Daily reading from the Golden Present by Swami Satchidananda, founder of Integral Yoga and Yogaville, heaven on earth in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. Sometimes we lose our strength. Question: one of my employees stole an item from one of our customers. I have given him a second chance, but others are expressing a feeling of mistrust in him. What should I do? Sri Gurudev: see if that employee is ready to openly apologize and repent for what he has done. It would probably be best for him to do it in front of the rest of the employees, not just the employer. People do make mistakes. Sometimes in a weak moment we lose our strength and do something that's not right. The minute you realize that you have done something wrong, you should not hesitate to come and say openly, yes, I made a mistake, I was weak, I'm sorry for it, and I will try my best not to repeat that. Please keep an eye on me and help me. If you are really interested in changing for the better, you should seek the help of others. This employee should come forward and openly apologize and ask for help. If that is done, I think not only the employer but the other employees also will feel sympathetic and compassionate toward him and agree to have him continue in that job. If I were the employer and if I had an employee like that, that's what I would do. To err is human. Even the employer might have done the same thing at one time or another. We all make mistakes. It's always better to forgive and forget, and not to always treat the person as a liar or a thief. We should give more and more and more chances for people to grow. And in your own time, finding your way to a comfortable seat. Inhaling for closing Om. Shanti, 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 Hari Om. Peace, peace, peace. Salutations to that remover of obstacles that lives within us all. Thank you, everybody out there. Thank you, holy beings in here. Namaste.